Yeah, Donnie, I did read something recently, and I'm sorry I can't give credit to who wrote it or where I saw it, but I saw something where like Russ and maybe his representatives kind of forced Brian Schottenheimer out, and Pete was the one who ultimately pulled the trigger on that move. But yeah, I mean, Russ eventually did leave Seattle. It's good that they mended some fences because obviously they were a great combination about 10 years ago. And the one thing about that report is, Jeff is absolutely right. They need a franchise quarterback, but they also need a bridge quarterback. You can't have the likes of Aiden O'Connell and, Gardner Minshew playing that role again for the Raiders. So in that scenario, it makes sense. We'll see what happens with the Steelers and Russ. Obviously, the Steelers have the inside track if they want to keep him because they can get that done before free agency starts.
So what happens with the Steelers, Ray? I mean, Russell Wilson, I don't know what's true or not with Russell anymore. For all this term toxic positivity so applies to him. It's one platitude after another. They could call him into an office, Mike Tomlin, Art, and Omar, and they could say, Russell, we thought you were horrible this year, and we're absolutely not bringing you back. And Russell would leave that room saying, man, I think talks are underway here. This is great. This is adversity. I'm going to learn from this and still be the Steelers quarterback. I just think he's not dealing in reality anymore, Ray. But certainly, have talks started, like he said, on a new contract?
Well, I'm sure his agent and the Steelers on some level, probably touched base and said, hey, listen, we'll talk down the road. Maybe there were some general parameters given by the agent of what it might take. But the Steelers never, ever deal with this type of stuff in January, even when they have high-profile guys. Their first orders of business in the offseason is, get ready for the draft, get ready for the new league year. And then when free agency comes, it comes. And they'll deal with that, late February, early March, when that time gets here. But, in the meantime, they'll be at the Senior Bowl next week, guys. I don't think they are focused at all on Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I think they're obviously talking about that inside the building, and eventually they'll come, to an agreement on who the guy's going to be. But I don't think we're there quite yet.
Ray, you put out your first mock draft of the season.
Yes, he did.
Earlier today, and Joe has not gone through it yet. I don't know if he's doing that as we speak, but I did tell him quite an interesting name that you have being selected by the Steelers in round number 3.
Yeah, I just figure if you're going to go for a mobile quarterback and that guy's not a first-rounder, let's face it, Jalen Milroe is not going to go in anyone's first round, even if he has a great combine, which a lot of people think that he will. There's just too much stuff on tape with his inconsistencies as a passer. And I think what teams are really going to have to get past here, and maybe there's an explanation for it, but under Nick Saban, he actually had good stats the 1 year as a passer. Was never a great throw over the football, but he had some good stats. And then under the new coach this year, the guy that came over from Washington, he had, fewer touchdowns, he had more picks, and it just wasn't, a great season for him. But if you're looking for a developmental quarterback in the middle rounds, and I don't think I would do this in the first or second round, but if you get a guy in the third round, listen, not every third round pick works out. If you take a flyer on a guy in the third round, you develop him, and then maybe he becomes a better passer with better coaching. I think that's the right round to do it. So you're going to hear a lot about Milroe in the coming weeks and months. He's a tremendous athlete. He can run that read option. He can do things the Steelers want to do, but the bottom line is he has to prove to people that he could become an NFL caliber passer, and he's just not there quite yet.